I think we started.
Okay, perfect. So this is episode 5, right?
Is it?
Yeah, episode 5.
Episode 5.
If it's not, then we sound really stupid.
This is episode 5 of Learning Out Loud.
Featuring George and Ryan.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So George, would you like to talk about today's topic?
So today we're talking about the importance of hobbies and having extracurricular activities outside of just normal work. I just don't like. I feel like every time we just talk about work, and every time like the word work comes out, it's just like, ugh.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So I think this was your idea. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you're talking about hobbies today, or why
I just really didn't want to talk about like work. I just wanted to talk about like life outside of work and.
So something positive.
Not saying work's negative. I feel like when we started this thing, we are going to talk about self-improvement, and obviously that's like correlated to work too, because like we're spending most of our time doing that. So it was more so just I just really want to talk about something else. And
okay.
Back to hobbies, because I guess hobbies are supposed to be like stress-free and things that you just feel comfortable doing.
Okay. Yeah, I was just about to ask you, how would you define hobbies then? So it's just something that you would do on your free time?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool.
Your free time is supposed to give you supposedly like no stress. It's supposed to be like relaxing, I guess, and
yeah.
Actually, it doesn't have to be, because it can be something you enjoy, I guess.
Yeah, something that you enjoy. I think that's what, because it's your free time. It's like out of like your whole work week, you have 2 days. Cheers. We're drinking tea, by the way, not vodka shots. Good tea, good tea. Alright, so George, you go first. What would you say is your hobby?
I don't even know right now. Okay, I just told you. I don't know what my hobbies are. I'm really just trying to figure it out. I was just talking to some other guy the other day at work, and my manager wanted me to go talk to him because apparently he was really stressed at work too, and my manager had previously helped him. And he's like, you should meet up this guy, grab coffee with him 15 minutes, and he'll talk about like work-life balance and stress. And I was literally just bitching to this guy about how I was super stressed out and I wasn't working out anymore, and all I could think about was just work all the time, and then I was not doing things that, not like I wasn't doing them, I was still like hanging out with friends and go out and eat and stuff like that, but it just didn't feel like I was ever unplugged. It could be, just never felt like I was doing things for what they were.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I suggested this to you last time, but what about film? I know that was something that you were really big into back then, and you pursued a career in it.
Yeah.
Maybe that was like some sort of essence where you thought, well, I don't know if I'm putting words in your mouth, but was it the fact that you pursued the film industry because you thought this can be a good balance of like what I like professionally, and also I like to do this in my free time, so this is like a perfect marriage of the two of them?
I don't know, for that one it was just like, for film it was more so like, this is really cool, this is something I'm enjoying right now, why not try to see if it's a career.
But you made a short film in your free time though, like you dedicated time out of your like day to do that.
Dude, honestly, I'm just trying things, man.
But did you find some sort of fulfillment with that, or I'm guessing not?
Not really, to be honest. Like, if I look back, it wasn't fulfilling. It was just like, I guess this is what people do, so let me just try this out.
What about reading?
Reading, I think I made reading stressful.
Is it because, well, tell me more.
Like, I made reading stressful, where it's like, oh, if I don't finish it by this date, then I'm gonna be a little bit mad at myself.
Didn't we talk about this last time about not having an agenda?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I just want to like ask you what your hobbies are, because clearly I'm struggling with life right now.
Yeah, I guess so.
Tell me, I know you love driving, you love listening to music.
Well, thanks, George. You already answered my question. I think the podcast can be over right now.
No, but you can obviously go in depth with that. How you got started, why you got started. Was there a moment where it was just clear, like, I like this thing, like I want to continue doing research on it, I want to keep up to date on what the newest whatever is, or how do you know that you wanted to dedicate time towards these specific hobbies?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I will preface that in the sense that finding what I like doing was definitely a very hard and long journey, but it was definitely something that was very critical to helping me be slightly more comfortable with who I was and bring a little bit more happiness and fulfillment that I didn't know existed in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So I think how this all originated was I was like in this really long relationship for 3.5 years. And it was very up and down, but definitely a lot of things were learned. But within that moment, I didn't really get to feel like I was living for myself because you had someone else to always care for and like do everything together with. So like you don't really have that much freedom in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So upon that, it was like right when I was starting I was midway starting a new job here in the city in San Francisco, and I really wanted a way to reinvent myself. Like I felt like this was a new time to flip a new chapter, and with that, I thought, okay, now that I have all this free time with me, what am I gonna do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I hung out with friends, met a lot of new people, but I kind of like thought about, okay, so like, what would I do to help me de-stress from work as well? So it was a combination of like, one, trying to find myself, secondly, also trying to find a way to cope with the stressful days at work. So I ended up like I've always loved cars since I was little. Like I told everyone this story that when I was like 5, I think my like babysitter brought me outside, and I love like garbage trucks, for instance. Like my parents like told me.
What was it about garbage trucks?
What was the fascination? Oh my god! I think it was just like it was so complex because when you're 5 and you see some shit like come out of the truck, pick up the garbage can, like bring it up in the air, flips, like it's like a transformer, and you're just like holy shit. And I think my parents were probably scared shitless. They're like, damn, is he gonna want to become like a garbage truck driver? Not to say there's anything wrong with that, but like it's just like different from the Asian philosophy.
You gotta chase your passions, right?
Yeah, exactly. So clearly, I did not go that route.
Why not?
Well, I mean, there's other things involved. Like, I wanted to do, like, different things in my life. So, big fascination with cars. And I actually spent a lot of my free time, to be honest, I think this kind of came from, like, one of my friends that I reconnected with back in college. I, like, reconnected with him over, like, I noticed he got a new car, and, like, we talked about it, and then, like, we started hanging out a lot. And we would just drive around the Bay Area a lot. Like, we would go up to, like, Marin, down to, like, the beach, just go all over the place. We never had like an agenda. We were just driving for the sake of driving, and just like that at itself was so peaceful for me and so exhilarating at the same time. And I was like, holy shit, like this is like I feel good, like I feel happy, like the world kind of like stopped for me.
Dude, that sounds amazing. Like, is it like
it wasn't like a forever, it was like bits and pieces of it.
Okay,
Like, sometimes I still will get self-conscious, like damn, am I spending too much money on gas? Like it'll still pop up, George. Like it's not like it's bliss 24/7 when I'm driving.
what sounds like bliss? You just like.
There's
like,
moments of bliss.
It's like in Tokyo Drift when all like 5 of those cars are drifting down the mountains. It just sounds like, wow, this is the time of the life.
That was more like adrenaline exhilaration because they were gonna die if they didn't.
No. I'm talking about when they're just when
Cruising.
there's like Fast and Furious 2, I believe.
Oh, because Tokyo Drift wasn't there on the
Oh,
mountains.
sorry, not-
DK with the drifting.
Yeah, not that one, not that. The one where it's just like, it's Maya, his wife.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
she's in the car. It's the first time she's meeting her, and there's like 5 cars, and they're just going down the mountain, just cruising.
Oh yeah, I know that scene. Yeah.
And it's like that's what they love doing. It's just like it's like people like surfing, It's just like
Yeah.
when they're just cruising and then nothing else just matters. Like this is it, I'm really happy that you found something like that.
Yeah. No, thank you. That was still a work in progress, but it comes with its consequences that I have a very expensive hobby because gas, tires. Always wanted to buy a new car. There's caveats with it. It's
Yeah.
not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second thing, actually, before I get to the second thing, is there anything that pops up in your mind of what you like to do? Like, what gives you that sensation or like that
Like I would
moment of
love
bliss?
to I don't know honestly like
What about reading though? I feel like there's bits.
It doesn't
You look
give me-
so peaceful sometimes.
what do you mean?
I've like read with you at the park, and you just seem like so happy. Like I don't know if you're overthinking hobbies. Like it needs to be something extreme.
I
It could be-
overthink it. I overthink a lot of things. So
Yeah, it's just like simply what you do in your free time. We defined that in the beginning of the podcast, didn't we?
I don't know. For me, like now, literally, it's just me opening up about like all my insecurities. But like for me, it's always like, am I doing this right? Like, am I? Like that's a constant question I'm asking. Like, am I doing this right? Like, is there a right way of doing this? Like, if I'm at a coffee shop, I used to like to go to coffee shops a lot. Well, I still do. But I'm questioning like, hey, why do I go to coffee shops? Is it go there just because that's what people do? And I like coffee, I guess. But is this what like a normal human being does who likes coffee does? Like it's just like, is this the right thing to do? Is this the right way to act?
So there's two things about the whole right thing. One
Yeah.
is like, how do you know what's right and wrong? What's your
Exactly.
basis?
Yeah. So I guess I don't know, because I want to hear your stories about when you're.
But it's different,
and you're
though.
enjoying yourself and you're present in the moment while you're driving, and that's what all that matters right now. Like for me, if I was in that mode, I'd be like, okay, I'm driving right now. Cool. The wind is really nice. All right, feels good. Do I look like I'm enjoying myself? Okay. All right, I'm enjoying myself. Am I enjoying? Okay, I'm enjoying. You know, it's like
George, it's not 24/7 though. Like I told you, like so, like one of the things is I'll be midway driving and be like, "Fuck, I just burned through a tank of gas," and like I'm like, okay, calculating. Okay, maybe I should slow down, like not use as much gas, or like
Yeah.
I'll think, okay, we're like driving up this mountain. Maybe like once we get here, then we'll turn back. We're like, should we stop here? Like it's not like 24/7. I'm like, oh my god. I'm just like, life's amazing. No, it's like there's a lot. I don't tell you. I mean, that's just a part of it. Like it's not like.
All right, you
can
made it sound.
find
You
this
made it
place.
sound like once you enter the car, once you step in the
No,
gas.
there's
like,
times
it's
where
just-
like I'll be driving, I'll be like, "Fuck, today's just not a good driving day."
Okay.
It's like sometimes like you go surfing, right? Well, I
Yeah.
don't go surfing, but I've heard this saying that, "Oh, today's waves are not good," or like it's never like always perfect.
Okay.
Yeah,
But it's
what
like
makes
your
it fun.
your little thing that you just like to do when you're.
But you see, that's the thing. It's like that's the cool thing about a hobby is that you start to realize like this is what's cool for you about the hobby. Like you start to pick out certain things because like I think that might help with the right and wrong because like you go surfing, right? Like your basis of your happiness from surfing, it could be like maybe if I got a big wave or if I got a few small waves. Like maybe some people like getting small waves, some people like getting big waves. So their
Sure.
definition of a good day of surfing is
I
different.
know, but you still go back to that activity because it gives you joy. Overall, like you wouldn't be doing it unless it wasn't something that you enjoyed doing. Sure, there's a
Yeah.
little. I'm talking about like on a lot, like on a.
But the coffee thing, like okay, that's. I think that's still good though. I think how I see hobbies is like it's like my form. Meditation is not the right word, but it's like you kind of have this zone of like.
I think it's meditation.
Yeah, I think it's yeah. I guess, okay, it is
You
a
described
form of
it last
meditation.
time, where it's just
A moment of bliss, sort of thing.
it's just you're just focused on what you're doing right then and there. You're just enjoying the moment.
But you are enjoying the moment at the coffee shop. Maybe not like the whole 30 minutes you're reading the book or like being in the presence, but there's like maybe that split 5 seconds where you look around, you take that deep breath, in and out, drinking that sip of coffee.
Yeah.
And like, wow, this is nice. Like, for 5 seconds, that's still a hobby. That's still enjoyment right there. Right?
I guess
It's not
so.
like it needs to be like 5 minutes of like, oh my god, this is so fucking great. Like, that doesn't, it doesn't work out like that. At least I don't think it should work out like that. I don't know, what do you think?
I think you're right. I think maybe I'm just painting an unrealistic picture of what a hobby is. Because I'd like to be a person with hobbies, you know, but like, oh, where are you going? Oh, I was going to my soccer club or something like that. You know, like I have
Yeah.
or I do this thing on Saturdays where I go to hip hop dance or I go to, I don't think church is a hobby, but like you have like things that you are doing, not as a activity, but more so like consistently because it brings you a lot of joy. And
But hanging out with friends, going out to get good food, going out to like go to the coffee shop.
is that
These
hobby? That's normal.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah, why not?
I guess so.
Some people say I love eating. Like when you look at people's like bios and stuff, like when I like I guess yeah, hobbies like eating, traveling, shopping, like that's a hobby.
Take me on an adventure.
Yeah, sort of.
Is that your profile?
No, I'm just. But I think this can also help. I mean, I'm pulling this probably off tangent, but thinking even bigger picture, I guess for you specifically,
Yeah.
is like having this hobby can help you out with this work sort of thing because I think we're both still guilty of it where that we define ourselves by work a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once you have a hobby, you're kind of splitting the eggs in different baskets.
Yeah.
So I think instead of tackling like work like damn this is so hard and like getting so so crazy about that, like maybe there's other avenues to solve that problem, which is like finding a hobby, and then that might help your other problems in life or figure out other things and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we went slightly off topic, and I did a lot of the talking. Is there anything you want to add or
You're
thoughts on that?
fine. No, I don't have anything else to say.
Well, I guess I should answer the part 2, which was the second hobby that I have. So
EDM, right?
I guess it just tends to be more EDM. Like, there's a sense of euphoria that I get from that.
Yeah.
Because I'm one that doesn't drink coffee. Like, when I go to work, it's like I get in, I'm like, fuck, I'm really tired, but I'm like probably blasting EDM music, and that like pumps me up even when I'm at work, and I have like a genuine joy and interest in that. Like it's not just like, oh, I'm like at a festival and like I'm here for being here, instead of like I'm here for the music. And I think I've slowly become to realize that like at first I was like, what's the hype around all these festivals and all the music shit? And like I think for most people, maybe I'm just overgeneralizing. It's sometimes like just like, oh, it's for the social media post or to say like I did something. But for me, it's like when I'm there, like let's say for instance Porter Robinson, hopefully he gives me some sort of shout out, but I guess not or never. But regardless, like I love like I go to Porter Robinson and like I'll listen to his music, but like I'm in this moment of just like happiness where like the music is just like one with me, and I just feel so at peace with who I am, and I just like feel like deconstructing the music. I don't know. It's like just I can't describe it, but it's just like I feel so like myself when I'm in that situation. And I think
And you're sober, right?
Sometimes it's like a sober, and sometimes like drinking, yeah, like in between. But either way, like I can still enjoy myself, and I listen to like a lot of music on the weekends and like even at home. But I was gonna say like this goes back to like the Cars thing, where like I had a deep passion or like something from my past led me to where I was today. And for me, music was my way of like a pacifier, where like if I went through any sort of problems, like friends, relationships, or like anything in life, like it always go back to music. I feel like music is always there for me. It always encapsulates some sort of emotions I want to feel or that I'm currently feeling right now, and that's always been my way of coping with stuff ever since I was little. And I think now it's not just a coping mechanism, but it's also like something that I derive like joy from. I don't know. But yeah, I guess that's my second passion in life, is this love for music.
Yeah, it sounds amazing though. Like the fact that you feel so at peace and comfortable with yourself while you're doing something. Like I think that's what like a legit hobby is, and a, not necessarily passion, but it's just it sounds amazing.
Thank you.
And I think it's really good that you have these things. Like if you know like, hey, I had a bad day at work, like all you do is turn on some music or something. I feel like that'd be good for you. Go for a drive.
But see, like, if you just say, like, oh, like, listening to music, like, oh, that doesn't sound like a hobby. But then, like, if you explain the story behind it, then it's like, oh, actually, it could be a hobby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing with a coffee shop. Like, going to a coffee shop, going to get good food.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those terms to you might seem really basic, but, like, if you have a meaning behind it, then it's like, you'll maybe think that's actually a hobby. Mm-hmm. And it actually is one.
Yeah.
I think you do have hobbies out there. I just don't think it just fits in line with what you think a hobby is. And I think that's maybe another problem.
Mm-hmm.
Or, sorry, not problem, another...
All these issues.
No, that's not the right way to phrase it.
I'm just kidding.
But is there, like, anything, like, if you could just think of anything right now?
I don't know. I'm in a really strange like period of my life right now where I'm literally just like I understand that you can be anyone you want, right?
Yeah.
If you want to be that guy who does yoga on his rooftop every morning, you can be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
You could also be that guy who goes cliff diving on his weekends, or that guy who goes clubbing every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know? Like, you can be anyone who you want to be.
Yeah.
I feel like right now I'm literally at the stage where I'm just trying a bunch of things. And it's scary because I'm not solidifying anything yet. And so it's just me, like, experimenting.
Yeah.
And that to me is a little bit scary. And nothing is super grounded yet.
That's fine. I mean, there's not like a timeline of when you need to find your hobby. There's tons of people out there probably in the same boat as you, like just trying new things. Mm-hmm. And I'm still trying new things. It's not like I'm only settled with cars and music. I'm like looking to see if there's anything else, like sports, gym, or like doing some sort of like extracurricular activities. And I think that's where the benefit of like trying to meet new people comes into play.
Mm-hmm. But
there's just let's take it a step back or like phrase it differently. So, like, when do you feel happy? Or, like, when do you feel, like, maybe just, like, a moment of that bliss? I'm sure that has to exist in your life somewhere.
True happiness?
True happiness is, I think that's too strong of a word. I would just say bliss, like, this moment of, like, like, the world slows down or something like that.
Yeah. The world slows down. I don't remember the last time I was like that.
You're smiling right now. Clearly, there's moments where you're smiling in other places or other situations.
I know, but I don't know if it was a moment of just like. I feel you have to almost allow yourself to be like that, like to be not self-conscious. Because that's when you're letting yourself be taken over by something, right? Like movies or music.
I thought you enjoy movies.
I haven't been able to enjoy a movie in a while.
Well, that's because you have terrible internet reception. That's a different parameter.
But when we went to watch Guardians of the Galaxy.
You like that, right?
I could see myself going in and out, like, but that's what a movie is designed to do. It's designed to like pull you in and let you like and you have to almost allow it too. But if you're like, hey, is this funny? Like, is this funny? Like, is that good acting? Like,
is that what you were thinking the whole time?
Sometimes I would think that way. Like, I would just
instead of being immersed in the situation.
Yeah, just being like, it's almost like now that I think about it, it's more like a defense mechanism. Like, it's like I'm not gonna allow anything to I'm not gonna allow anything to happen to me that I'm not aware of. But those are a lot of times when I'm going on a side tangent, but like that vulnerability thing where you're just letting things come into you and you're taking them in. Because if you are just kind of like, who is this? Like, what's going on right now? What's the situation? Oh, I'm watching a movie. Okay, like, oh, it's an opening scene. Okay, so that's kind of the character. Yeah, this is a movie though. Like, I know that they're acting. This is not real. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have... I'm glad you told me that, first off, but I also don't know how to, like... I can't prescribe a solution, nor am I expecting myself to. Okay, well, let's see. Well, like, I guess, I mean, there's other questions to ask. So, like, what do you do on your weekends?
Hang out with you, dude.
Yeah, so hanging out is a hobby.
Hanging out,
Having deep conversations is another one.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think there's tons of things that you're doing right now that are, like, slight hobbies, but I don't know if you want to recognize it as such.
Uh-huh.
Or you're just, like, too tough on yourself. Because I just named a couple that you do, and it seems like these could be considered hobbies. Eating, hanging out with friends, going to new places, that's called adventurous.
Uh-huh. There's
deep conversations, coffee shops. Like, I just named, 5 or 6? These are all possible hobbies, but I don't think you want to recognize them as such. Yeah. Which is fine. If there's some sort of reason you don't want to, then by all means do that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Just my 2 cents on it.
I don't know what to say right now. I feel like I'm ruining this podcast.
No, it's fine. Purpose of this podcast was to capture like the not the originality, but like authenticity. See, you know what to say. The authenticity of a real conversation. It's not like everyone's talking 24/7 or you know what to say.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah, but I mean, I'm always here for you to see if you need help finding a conversation or something like that. Sorry, not conversation. To find a hobby. Like fucking lost in thought too. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Pretty good, man.
Perfect. Well, I know this is a shorter podcast, but yeah, hopefully everyone enjoyed it. And if you want, definitely comment on hobbies that you have, and maybe this might help George and myself figure out other things that we're not doing yet. Right?
Right.
Yeah, try out something new. Perfect.
Perfect.
Awesome. Right. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.